Welcome to All Things Covered with Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. The name says it all. If you like what you hear, download and subscribe, and make sure you drop us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You can also watch us. Just visit youtube.com/allthingscovered and check us out on YouTube as well. Pat P, what are we going to cover on this episode?
Yo, Matt, the Super Bowl is set, and we got a lot to discuss about Tom Brady and the Bucs beating the Packs. And also, shout out to our very, very first and very own guest, Tyrann Matheiu, getting back-to-back like Drizzy to another championship. And we got a special guest today joining us, two-time Super Bowl champion and a bruising running back, Brandon Jacobs.
Listeners, viewers, you know what time it is. First quarter of our show. Now it's time to chop it up. We're going to chop it up. You know, guys, we do a lot of different things during our chopping it up segment. We take trips down memory lane. We love to share fun, cool stories with you guys. But unfortunately, we're going to get a bit serious. This past Tuesday marked the 1-year anniversary of the death of the legend, the great Kobe Bryant. We both love Kobe Bryant as a player, professional player. We love his swag on and off the court. Our favorite NBA player, like I mentioned, Pat P, I know how much you love Kobe Bryant. But when you think about the Mamba mentality, how much has that impact the sports world?
The Mamba mentality, something real. It was something that was very, very genuine and unique, and it fit every characteristic of Kobe. You know what I mean? Very fierce, determined. Didn't have a care in the world about anybody else. If there was in his way, he was moving them out of the way to get to where he wanted to go. I just believe that the Mamba, term itself, fit every characteristic that Kobe displayed to us, at least, in the sports world. So, it's definitely a tough day because I remember exactly where I was when I got the news. But like you alluded to, Kobe was definitely my all-time favorite basketball fan, with me being a Laker fan. He's the reason why I am a Laker fan. You know what I mean? So the Mamba mentality definitely is carrying on it's going to carry on through many, many generations to come.
And one thing I love about
you wrote a letter that made freaking like YouTube or something like that, man. That was big time.
Yeah. My letter to Kobe. Yeah, my letter to Kobe. Shout out to my homeboy and my good friend, former colleague in Carlo. He currently works with the Lakers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So Pat P, whenever you want to get out to Laker game, man, I got an insight with the franchise. So definitely can look out.
I'm there.
Yeah. So what I did was I wrote a letter and I just sent it to Carlo, and he was actually on site outside the Staples Center where they did the memorial for Kobe, and he was able to put on a Lakers shirt for me. He wrote my message down on a shirt, and it just was a heartfelt message because, like you said, I remember the thing about tragedies. With people who you look up to or you have love for, you admire, you always remember where you were when that tragedy occurred. And for me, I was just getting down to Miami, getting ready for the Super Bowl to work the Super Bowl with CBS. Got off the plane and I'm like, phone blowing up because like all my friends and family, they know I love Kobe Bryant. So everybody was reaching out like, is that new? Is it true? Is it true? And I called Carlo. I was like, Carlo, man, is this true? Because I know he was out in LA, and eventually got back to me and confirmed that story. And it was like, my whole week was crushed. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl, covering the Super Bowl, getting ready for interviews. And now I got to deal with this. So it was a heartfelt moment for myself, along with everybody else who love Kobe Bryant or just love quality, good people. You know what I mean? Something that we would never forget. And his legacy will live on forever, in my opinion. But shout out to Kobe Bryant, shout out to Gigi as well. Everyone, all the individuals that lost their lives in that terrible accident, man, we send our prayers out to you and your family. You never will be forgotten. I can say that much. Now it's time for Around the League. And this past weekend, Pat P, man, it was some real good football on this past Sunday. Championship Sunday is always an event you must tune in to watch from start to finish. Four real good teams going to battle. In the NFC, we like to highlight the NFC game first and foremost. You had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Green Bay Packers. There's so many storylines we can hit on, right? Quarterback battle, the GOAT going against one of the more talented passers to ever play in the National Football League, and Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady, once again, he does it. I mean, looking at Tom Brady, the season he had, the success he's had, playing in another championship, 10, Pat P, this man got 10 Super Bowl appearances, right? 10. Yeah. Can we finally say that it was more Brady than Belichick?
Man, I've been saying that.
You've been saying that since day one?
No doubt about it, man. Brady is the man. I understand that coaches put players in situations to be successful. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, when it's time when you need that drive, you need that clutch play, who's delivering that pass? And it showed this. You got the same coaching staff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And both teams, both organizations, you basically got the same staff. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you close to having your coaching staff. So you can't say the coaches. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, coach is gonna coach, players gonna play, and coach is gonna give you the information that you need to be successful. It's up to the player to be able to take in that information, gather that information, and be able to put that information together so therefore he can be successful on the football field. Because at the end of the day, the guy who is out there performing, that's who's making it go. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the players are the guys who's making it actually go. So Tom Brady, for sure, I said that when it first happened. Tom Brady will, if he can win this one, I said he will be he'll win a championship before Bill Belichick.
Well, he has an opportunity to prove your theory correct. So we will find out in over a week.
Like my all-time favorites, especially when they had that Peyton Manning, and I love Peyton Manning too. But when that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady discussion was like, everybody was on Peyton Manning's side. Peyton threw 50 touchdowns a year. I'm like, bro, that dude Tom Brady, bro, is just since 2003. You know what I mean? I was like, this dude's just different. He's disrespect to Peyton, but he's just a better ball player than Peyton Manning.
I think what makes Tom Brady so special, because think about this, Pat. Any year in his prime year, you could always say Tom Brady probably wasn't the best. He didn't have the strongest arm. He wasn't the most athletic. But the thing that sets Tom Brady apart from the rest, his ability to lead.
Yeah, his will to win.
His ability. He's one of the best leaders. You know what I mean? He's one of the best leaders, best bellwethers to ever play in the National Football League, I think. And his ability to get people to buy in, you know what I mean? And just get people to see the vision and follow through on that vision is super impressive, in my opinion. And talking about coaching, let's transition to the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur, right, head coach for the Packers, has been criticized, has been questioned a lot with his decision late in the fourth quarter to decide to kick a field goal instead of going for it on 4th and goal. And Aaron Rodgers said it wasn't my decision. What are your thoughts about that decision to attempt the field goal instead of going for a touchdown?
I had mixed emotions about that. I thought at the time, especially the way the defense was playing, I thought they was playing good enough to where, because at the end of the day, you want to get points. Your defense was playing well enough. Get your offense back out off the field. Who knows? Tampa could have won in a 4-minute offense and not gave them an opportunity to get the ball back when they had the ball at 2 minutes. So, and you had an extra timeout.
They had 3 timeouts at the time when they went for it, when they kicked the field goal too.
Took a bonehead play with the kickoff by sliding, so it gave them a 4th timeout.
Yep.
But Tampa came out with that. It was like a quick pass, got 9 yards. I think to Mike Evans on the first play. Mm-hmm. So it kind of made it, easier for them to get. But I thought at the time, with me looking at the game, and the defense was playing really well up until that point. They got like 3 and outs after they had 2 picks, like in 5 possessions. So
Jair.
And at that point, Aaron, if you go back and look, Aaron his stats was looking pretty good, but up until like 8 minutes into that game, a lot of throws, that pressure started getting to him. Like he started his eyes started getting down from his throws. The coverage got a little bit tighter, and that's the hardest place to score on the football field. So at that point, I thought Your defense was playing well. You get you 5 points, and at the end of the day, you go out there and stop them. You're gonna be in that predicament again, probably with with no timeouts, with a little bit, rushing a little bit more up tempo offense. But I thought at the time, in the way the game was going, I thought it was the right situation. But now that the game is over, yes, it could have been the proper situation to go for it. But I think kicking the field goal at that time, I thought it was the right decision, because it was
For
a lot
me,
of time left, and
yeah.
they had timeouts to work with to have an opportunity to get the ball back. I just felt like if they wouldn't have, if they don't kick the field goal and they don't get the what's the name, they still run the clock out. That's
I guess for me, my logic is, if the game is on the line, I'm going to ride or die with the best player, who is 12.
Best player was struggling the last 8 minutes of the ball game.
And
that is the hardest place to score, and especially it was 8 yards out.
Yeah, he should have ran for it on third down. That third down.
I said that. I said, man, run it.
Why he didn't run? He should have ran. But I would have gave him another crack at it. I mean, that's the big money man on the team.
Honestly, Mac, if they would if he would have got about 4 to 5 yards on that play, they would have won
on that third down. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah. I just think it was just too far, because his numbers wise, stat wise, it's
analytics.
Analytics is almost like a 13% chance of them, being successful on that play. Mm-hmm. So that's why I thought at that time it was the right call, because your defense was playing well. You kicked the ball back, and worst case scenario, you're gonna get the ball back. Tampa would have been punting back into the wind. So worst case scenario, you would have got the ball back at the 40, your own 40, 35.
Yeah, more
than enough time to work, and Aaron is used to and known for working under high up tempo offense. So I thought that would have put him in his element for him to get back in a groove, because I just thought him throwing the ball, getting back into something, he couldn't really find a groove in the passing game in the fourth quarter for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Another questionable decision happened right before halftime. Right, time around the clock. Buccaneers have no timeouts. I think it was around 8 seconds. Mike Pettin decides to call look like a cover 3 or something like that. Long story short, it wasn't the best coverage. And then Kevin King, a guy who's been playing some real good football for the Packers, I mean, just got watching the quarterback. Scotty Miller ran right past him. Pat, as a DB, I mean, the ball was probably on the 40-yard line. 8 seconds. Buccaneers have no timeout. I think it was second or third down. No, was it fourth down? I think it was fourth down, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what down it was, but they have no timeout. So they're going to take a shot, right? Mm-hmm. Scotty Miller ran right by Kevin King. They go up 21-10 at halftime.
Okay.
That was a huge momentum killer for the Packers. And just hearing the play and knowing the situation and being aware of the situation as a defender, you got to keep everything in front of you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I don't care what down it is. If you got 8 seconds left, and they're in a situation to try to score, you trying to keep, like you said, you deepest of the deepest.
It was first down. It was actually first down. It was first down.
Okay, but you're still the deepest of the deepest, and nothing should get behind you. I don't care what coverage you could be a man to man. I'm still playing high. You know what I mean? So,
that's what I'm saying.
That stat is so true, and I came more aware of things like this being with BA. Because BA is such a situational guy, because that's what wins games, being a smart football team and a situational good football team. But that was always his thing of double scoring before halftime
and getting the ball back. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
And I never knew this. When he put this stat up that every team that scores before halftime have an 82% chance of winning the ball.
To win. Yeah, that's what I used to do that on Madden. Anytime I play Madden, I used to bust your head on Madden too. Don't forget about that. I would always defer. I won't put my defense on the field first. You said what?
What about NCAA, Ohio State? Don't do that, Matt. Don't do that.
You beat me one time, man, with them Buckeyes.
Don't do that.
I was hell on them sticks.
Don't do that.
I would score before halftime and try to get that ball back at the halftime.
Same way with me. Double score.
We recapping the NFC Championship game, the Packers losing to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All things covered. Pat Peterson and Brian McFadden. Make sure you stay tuned. We got a Super Bowl champion join us later in the show, Brandon Jacobs, former New York Giants. One thing I would like to bring to your attention, also listeners and viewers as well. Aaron Rodgers had an unbelievable year for the Green Bay Packers. 40-plus touchdowns. Clearly, he will win MVP, in my opinion. But this past offseason, remember, past April, right, in the draft. The draft was in April or May, I can't remember. The Packers traded up to go get Love, quarterback from Utah State, right? And when you draft a quarterback that high, instantly questions surface about how long will you stay with the current guy, right? Me personally, when you look at Aaron Rodgers and look at the year he had, it's only a matter of time before they put Love into the lineup or give him an opportunity to get in the lineup. No. If you Green Bay, do you consider trading Aaron Rodgers this year?
No, man. No. They did the same thing when Brett Favre was there, man. Aaron Rodgers didn't play till his 8th year in the league. You know what I mean? They just grooming him.
It's different, though. It's different.
I understand that it's different, but the league is all about, although Aaron didn't win, those NFC championships game, I felt like last year they was outmatched. This year, I felt like it was some, questionable calls, some questionable plays, some plays that they should have made to put them in a better position to win this ball game. But how many NFC championship he played in? What, 5?
He played a lot. No, I don't think he played. He's only won one.
He only won one, but I think he played in like 5 of them.
He played at least
maybe 4.
Last year, he played last year, they lost. He played this year, they lost. The year they won a championship in 2010, he played that year. I think he might have played in 3 or 4. Definitely 3 for sure, but maybe 4.
That is that he's been in a big moment. He just haven't won those moments. And he had great years every single year. It's not like he's having a drop off.
But Pat P,
no, they ain't trading.
The inevitable. It's the inevitable with Love eventually getting in there. You can get you 2 first-rounders for Aaron Rodgers right now.
I get that. But if they're with Green Bay being the historical team that they are, I think the only way they get rid of Aaron Rodgers is if he walk up and be like, I'm ready to go. They not.
No. You can't say that. They shipped Brett Favre off. And remember, we all thought Brett Favre would be a lifer.
Exactly.
Leave when he wanted to leave.
When Brett Favre got there, what stage? Brett Favre played almost, 16 years, 17 years?
Brett was still kicking, though. He's still playing some good football.
He was still kicking, but he was not as effective as Aaron Rodgers is.
I'm saying I agree with you, but when you draft a quarterback that high, these questions will surface. So
Green Bay, they drafted Aaron Rodgers. He was a first rounder, but he was late.
Late, yeah, he was late. They traded up to go get Love.
He still was a first rounder.
He was. And speaking of
Brad, for 7 whole years.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to stir the pot right quick. I know you like some gumbo. I'm trying to stir the pot, see what the spices taste like.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I like to highlight with you before we transition to the Chiefs and the Bills and get ready, to talk about this Super Bowl matchup. You had a lot of positive things to say about BA and Todd Bowles. Why are they so deserving to be where they currently are, to be at this moment in their coaching career, to be able to win a championship? Why are they so deserving?
Having an opportunity to be around BA for 5 years, being around the Todd for 2 years, seeing the work and dedication that they put into the game, and BA finally getting his first head coaching, being a player of his first head coaching gig, and seeing, how much he cared about players, how much his job meant to him, how much he loved it. And that's all he talked about. The first meeting, every single week, every single offseason was, we got one coming and go. That's a winner. A motherfucking championship. Super Bowl. That's the only thing he put up there. Super Bowl was the Lombardi.
Yeah. That's Tiki Lombardi.
And goal. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
for us to come so close, 2015, it was a remarkable year. But I think losing some of those key guys late in the year definitely hurt us. But if we had our guys, that was a special team that we had in 2015.
Yeah.
And seeing how much Bowles put into it, same way, how much he loved the game, how much he gave to the game. And it's nothing like seeing, guys like that get rewarded. And, I know it's a bunch of guys like that in the league. It's other guys in the league that's definitely deserving of being rewarded of a championship. With BA putting in 40 plus years, Todd Bowles coaching for 20 plus years, those guys put their blood, sweat, and tears in. And, BA won it before as a coordinator, but having an opportunity to do it for doing it as his own team, I think that'd be so remarkable for him. And I texted him right after. I know he's so excited and anxious for this game and to come on and also be the first team. Because we had an opportunity to be one of the first teams to play in our backyard.
In a home state, yeah.
In 14, but Carson ended up getting hurt. We made it to the playoffs, but we had an opportunity. We was like one of the first teams to go to the playoffs with the Super Bowl being at their home facility. But yeah. I think those guys, man, have put in so much time, work, and dedication that these guys are definitely. I would literally love to see them win the Super Bowl because it definitely will feel like I won a Super Bowl with them.
No question.
Because I get to talk to Ty. I felt like I won a Super Bowl last year with him. Yeah. I was hollering around my house. So it's going to be a fun Sunday for me, man. I'm excited for sure.
No question. It's a win-win for you. It would be win-win for you in the next, in 2 weeks when that game kicks off. Real quick, we're going to transition to the AFC matchup. Chiefs won 38-24. I definitely was a bit surprised to see the lopsided win in favor of the Chiefs. But how do you possibly defend Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill? Both guys combined for almost 300 yards through the air, 22 receptions between both of those guys. So how do you defend it?
There's two things that you can do.
Mm-hmm. Break it down to me, DC.
One of them is definitely illegal. You can't do it. One, you got to put 3 more players on the field.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that at all.
You can't do this. You got to build an all-pro secondary, man. You got to build an all-pro secondary to try to stay.
But I can say this. The one team that seems to have had success against the Chiefs, not just this year, but even last year, is the Chargers, right? And the thing about the Chargers, they play a lot of zone, but they can afford to play zone because they got 2 dominant edge rushers.
Yes. I was going to say that.
They got Bosa, they got Ingram.
If you have a dominant front four and have a rotation of a dominant front four or a force to get to Pat, that's when you can be effective to them of making those windows a lot more tighter, to force him to throws, to force him to see things that's not there. I think that's definitely a huge factor, and I'm with you 100%. The Chargers always give the Chiefs problems on the defensive side of the ball, but offense never can put up as many. No question.
And so, real quick before we toss the break, fans and listeners, we want to try a new segment with Pat P. So last week doing Pat P, because he's been in the air a lot because he's officially in off-season mode, right?
Breaking news.
Hey, I had to break news to you. So we're gonna try a new segment here, and the name of this segment is "Has Pat Heard?" Right? So last week you didn't know Doug Peterson. We're gonna put you on the spot. Huh?
Is Eric up to this, man? Did Eric throw this?
Hey, has Pat heard? So I'm gonna hit you with a few questions. I want to know: have you heard the news? If you hadn't heard the news, right? The first question, the first news I'm gonna break to you: the Eagles have hired a head coach. They just signed Nick Sirianni. Have you heard that?
I did hear that, Mac.
Okay. Pat heard of that. The next one: Phillip Rivers retired. Did you hear that one?
Hey, now that's shocking news. I did not hear that.
You didn't hear that one?
No, man. I did not hear that. It's officially.
Yeah, he's done. They looking for a new quarterback.
Man, the last news I heard in the league was Matthew Stafford requested a trade, and Carson Wentz.
Okay. Carson
Wentz was he's unhappy with upstairs or something like that. So he's looking to go somewhere as well. Oh no. No. It wasn't Carson. It was a quarterback that was unhappy with something.
Deshaun.
No. We talked about him. I thought it was for my reason. Maybe it was Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Okay, so that was my next one. Matthew Stafford is asking for a trade. So you heard that one.
Hey, you want to know something crazy about it? I was out with the wife. We was out somewhere eating. I saw it on the bar television. I was like, damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one, Dwayne Haskins signed with the Steelers.
I did. So that I did not hear that he signed with Steelers, but I did hear that the Steelers
the visit.
Yeah, I did see the visit.
Well, we broke that to you. He signed with the Steelers. All right. The last one I think you're aware of because I saw you tweet out about the matchup. Conor McGregor lost. I know you know about that.
Man, was I shocked, boy?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I,
First of all,
I,
I'm pissed that I couldn't even watch the fight because my dang on ESPN app wasn't working.
well, it wasn't long. It said it was about 60 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. ESPN. I mean, all things are covered. We might either get some fights or something, man. ESPN was let me down last week.
Well, don't worry. In the next coming episodes, we're gonna have a few fights as guests on our show. So I'm working on something special.
Man, I'm up here, man, getting frustrated, man. My wife trying to find out what's wrong with me. I'm trying to watch the biggest fight of the year in 2021 out in Abu Dhabi. You know what I mean? The sun probably was still up.
Hey, yeah, but they said it didn't last long before he went to sleep. He went to sleep.
I did see the highlights, man. And the highlights I saw, the way the fight was going, I thought it was like the third round, but like you said, it was early. Yeah, I know it was early. Yeah, he beat the mess
out. Second round knockout.
Okay, yeah, but
okay. Hey, so you like the new episode? The new segment has Pat heard. So we broke. So you didn't know Phillip Rivers had retired, and you didn't officially know Dwayne Haskins signed with the Steelers.
Hey, because the thing is, when I saw the news about Matthew Stafford, they said something about the Colts, and I didn't put two together. But I did not know Phillip had retired. I did not know.
Phillip he's officially retired.
Man, shout out to Phillip for having an awesome, great career. Phillip definitely will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, you think he's first ballot?
Yeah, Phillip Rivers. Because you got to think about it. You got to think about the class he's going to come out with. You got to think about who he's going to be with, and when it's time for him to go, and right now he's the only quarterback that's retired. Ben is not going to retire. Who's better than Phillip Rivers that retired, over the last few years?
And it's funny, and also too, I think he will be able to go in with Drew Brees because there's a good chance that Drew Brees may retire this year as well. We're just waiting on here.
That's going to be that. And you think about like that from that 03 to 04, I think, right? 04 draft class, 03, somewhere in there.
Phillip Rivers is in the same draft class with Eli, Ben, and Fitzgerald, and also too, remember we get a chance to talk to Brandon Jacobs about Eli and his thoughts about Eli getting into the Hall as a first ballot.
I don't think Eli will be first ballot, but I think Eli is deserving to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we got to hear what his former teammate said.
Yeah, I don't care about when you get to the Hall of Fame, as long as you get there.
Get in. No
question. First ballot, that's obviously an asterisk. You know what I mean? That's but whenever
just getting in.
No doubt about it. It's not even 500 players over 100 years.
That's a special class to get into.
So I don't give a dang on how whoever gets in there, but I do think
as long as you get in.
I think Eli will be a Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listeners and viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed our new segment. Has Pat heard? I can't wait to hear. Yeah, I can't because he's gonna be in the air soon, so he don't like being on dry land too much in the offseason.
Right now, I'm in the hotel right now.
No question. Yeah, you about to be in the air soon, so we go next week. I can't wait. And also too, next week we will have a special Super Bowl edition of All Things Covered. We got some big things planned for you listeners and viewers starting next week in Tampa. So make sure you stay tuned. Also, stay tuned because it's time for us to go into halftime, make a few adjustments when we come back out. Man, we got to get in that goal line defense because we got a big bruising back that will be joining us here on All Things Covered. Yeah, tighten up bow your back up, like Coach Andrew used to say. Get in there, get in the fight. Bow your back up. Brandon Jacobs, 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants, will be joining us here right after the break. Stay tuned. We're back from halftime, and it's time for me and Pat P to put our big boy pads on. Man, we got to protect our shoulders. We told you guys earlier in the show we had a special guest joining us, a 2-time champion of the world, an outstanding former NFL player, a 9-year vet. He part of that 2005 draft class. Guess who else was a part of that class? Yours truly. 2-time Super Bowl champion, like I said, 4th-round pick in 2005 by the New York Giants. He's also the all-time rushing touchdown leader in organization history with 60 touchdowns. You can follow him via social media on Twitter at GatorBoy Running Back, GatorBoy RB on Twitter, or Instagram, nyg.td.record27 on Instagram. Yours truly, join us here on All Things Covered. Brandon Jacobs, B. Jacobs, what's happening with you? How's everything going?
Man, everything's going great, man. I can't complain, living life. You know what I'm saying? Just doing the best I can do, man. Coaching kids and coaching high school football and just really living life, man, having a blast. Not making too
Yeah.
much of a fuss about it.
No doubt. We definitely gonna get in that coaching career that you tapping into right now. We're hearing some big
man.
things, but in a week or so, the biggest game in the NFL would take place, right? And we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going against the Kansas City Chiefs. And representing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is arguably the best player to ever do it, right? Tom Brady. But your former team were known to be the Tom Brady killers, winning 2 Super Bowls against the New England Patriots. At this point, do you want Tom to continue to win championships that can put your teams that beat the Patriots in a higher regard when it comes to the professional way in which you not necessarily dominated the Pats, but come out and beat the Pats in very, very close outings?
Well, I go 2 ways with it. The Eagles is a team that I probably hate second most next to the Dallas Cowboys. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They've done it. They've done it. So they've wiped that only team to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl thing. They wiped that out, right? However, I do have one of my boys I played with in Tampa with Tom Brady and Jason Pierre-Paul, right? I got Jason Pierre-Paul in Tampa, and I got Coach Merritt. I think he's coaching the linebackers or maybe the DBs, I think, in Kansas City with Coach Spagnuolo, who's the defense coordinator, who was also with the Giants when we beat New England the first and second time around. So I'm kind of torn, but you know what I always say with this thing, man, coaches play this game and they coach this game for 20, 25 years. Players get opportunity to play the game 9, 10 years at most for a lot of guys, that go and have a successful, career. So I'm going for Tampa. I want Tampa to beat Kansas City, and I think it's gonna happen.
Well, that's awesome. Well, speaking of, since you're going with Tampa, the 2007 Giants, since then, the 2010 Packers were the only team to win the Super Bowl, being a wild card team. Tampa is a wild card team. How challenging is that path, or was that path?
Well, it was really challenging. Nobody never give you a chance to win. Obviously, going into the game, everybody's going to beat you every week, right? They got lucky. It won't happen this week. They look like they're playing like pretty good, but I don't think they have enough for this week. Going in everyone else's house and winning a game when you're not supposed to win, that takes so much. That gives you so much more confidence going into the next week. When we went to Tampa, in 2007, when we went to Tampa, played them, beat them, then going into that, and we had the confidence then because they had just won the NFC South. Saints was pretty good that year. I think the Falcons was doing well that year. So to come out of that division being a winner, we knew we was going to have our hands full, but we didn't think their division was better than ours at that time. Right? We didn't think their division was better than ours. So we went in, we played, we beat them, and then had to turn around and travel to Dallas to play a team that blew us out twice that season on schedule, right? So we was like, well, they beat us twice already. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to beat us the third time. We went in there and laid it on them. Then traveled to Green Bay, who beat us 38-13 or 38-16 in week 2 of that season in 2007. And we went to a Lambeau in negative 28 degrees and beat them. So we was on fire, man. We felt good, and it's hard going to someone else's house and win, as you guys know already. So it took a toll on us week in, week out, knowing we had to account for the noise. We had to do certain things to be able to communicate because of the noise. It was kind of tough.
Yeah, no doubt. And speaking of the Buccaneers, I mean, he's not quite your size, but Leonard Fournette has been known to be a pretty powerful running back with nice size. What are your thoughts about his resurgence there in Tampa?
I love Leonard, man. I love the way he run. He came to Jacksonville for the first time. First 2 years was really good. Then he had some injury issues, kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't know if he slowed down per injury versus not being happy being in Jacksonville, not happy with what he had around him. So it's, you can look at these situations both ways. But Leonard, if they give him the ball going downhill, I think he can take the toll. I think he can take a toll on that defense. And he asked me, I don't know if Kansas City has been as good against the run this year. You know, I know they got a dominant offense and Pat Mahomes, but I don't think their defense has been that dominant all year long. So I think Tampa may have the best defense actually in the league right now. But I think, you know, them giving opportunity to let Leonard run down their throats, I think will give them a better chance to win the game. And that's, you know, and then it takes some pressure off of Tom Brady being the one to have to be the one to win the game. You know, so I think Leonard Fournette is definitely going to play a big part in, you know, whether or not Tampa win or lose the game.
Well, we're talking about, you know, you spoke a little bit about size. Is there any disadvantages or advantages versus a 6'4" running back versus a 5'7" running back?
Okay, I talk to people all the time about this, and I always say, everybody like, man, but you're so big. You 6'4", you 260, man. With being 6'4", being 260 pounds, there's more disadvantages to being a running back than advantages, right? Yeah, you get me down, and, you know, and I got to get 2 or 3 yards, and I got to push that line, you know. But when I'm in an open field and I'm trying to see, I got DBs, I got safeties coming out of nowhere. I got to keep my head on the swivel. I got to see which way they're coming from because I can't protect so much, you know, so much of my legs because my legs are so long, right? So it's definitely more disadvantages to being 6'4" versus a lot of advantages. You know, I definitely right now, looking back at my career, I wish I'd have played defensive end like they was trying to get me to do, like Nick was trying to get me to do at LSU, and I would have probably still been playing.
Yeah.
Oh, so Coach Saban wanted you to play DN?
He didn't say. Listen, he didn't say that, man. Funniest thing is, I go to LSU on my visit, and Corey Webster, Michael Clayton, and Marcus Spears was there. I went to camps with some of those guys. I played in Louisiana All-Star game with a lot of those guys, and I played AAU against those guys. So we had a chance to form, and I really came up with Corey. So we had a form, you know, we had an opportunity to build a bond. So I went to visit, you know, and they were there already. I was coming from junior college, and it was like, hey, man, don't come here. I'm like, why? Because he's going to move you to defensive end. They're already talking about it. You're a Louisiana boy. You was a top player in the state. They're going to move you to defensive end, so don't come here. As I look back at it, Corey Webster went to LSU playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Went to LSU playing quarterback for St. James High School, moved him to DB, second-round draft pick. Marcus Spears went to LSU from Southern Lab, right? playing tight end, moved him to defensive end, first-round draft pick. Michael Clayton went to LSU to play quarterback, ended up moving him to wide receiver, first-round draft pick. You can't tell me Nick don't know what he's doing. You can't tell me you don't know what he's doing.
BJ, because it might be safe to say you were a little before your time, because look at Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry is what, about 6'3", 6'4". You know what I mean? He pretty much is the Brandon Jacobs of this generation. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, looking at the success you had and clearly the success he's having, I think teams are more, you know, willing to accept the bigger backs, something that we're not used to seeing. You know, and speaking of your success being the state player in Louisiana, man, you had over 3,000 yards your senior year, 3,000 yards, 38 touchdowns. And then granted, the internet was out, it was a thing, but it's not like how it is now.
No, it's not.
Imagine if you came out of high school right now with those stats and those numbers, man. What type of impact would that have had on you going into the college football scene?
It probably would have had a much bigger impact. I mean, I didn't qualify academically. You know, I had a terrible ACT test. I had a terrible score. So I didn't qualify. So I had to go to junior college. I had a little bit noise. I had a lot of noise. I was the #1 player coming out of high school in the country that year. So I had the noise. It just wasn't brought to the forefront like it is now with a lot of these kids they got their huddle, you know, Rivals was just now starting then. They got Max Prep. They got all this other, you know, they got all this other stuff now that these kids are able to show themselves on, you know, and that's the type of stuff I tell people all the time. I coach at a small private school. My kids are going to go to small private schools. And I tell people like, bro, it's not like it was back then. Your kids are going to be found wherever they're at. You know, they're going to be able to do their thing because people are going to be able to find them due to social media. It's not the hardest in the world now to get your kid some publicity, you know?
Yeah. I agree. Well, speaking of, the high school level, then you end up making that jump to the college level. How do you look back at your college journey from, is it Coffeyville Community College and is it Coffeyville Community College to
Yes, sir.
Auburn to Southern Illinois?
Well, that was me. That's the bonehead me. You know what I mean? And I tell people that all the time. Okay, I didn't qualify coming out of high school, so I went to Coffeyville. Went there, played running back. Worked hard to keep my weight down because my head coach at there was telling me, he said, if you go up over 260, you putting your hand in the dirt. You're gonna come off the edge. So man, I was working so hard because I'd already committed to it. Now my eligibility is on the line, so I can't go up over 260 because I don't want to put my hand in the dirt. He made me work just as hard by telling me that, but he had never had any real plans of putting me down at defensive end, you know. But I went, I worked hard, had an opportunity to go to Auburn because Auburn was one of the only schools outside of LSU that ended up sticking with me, through me being ineligible academically. So they stuck with me. They found a junior college for me. And I went to it. So I felt like, being a man is one thing my grandfather taught me. Like being a man is, loyalty is everything. Loyalty is everything. Those people stuck their hands out there to help you, to get you eligible with the NCAA clearinghouse. You could at least go back there and play ball and give them what they wanted, right? So that's what I did. But I went back to Auburn knowing Cadillac Williams was there and Ronnie Brown was there. And that same 2005 that BMac is talking about, Ronnie was drafted number 2 overall and Cadillac was number 5 overall. And ergo me coming in at the 4th round, I was behind both of them in college. So I was like, man, with all due respect to Auburn, that Cadillac was supposed to leave. We had been discussing him leaving all season, his junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't, the end of the season came, he never left. It was going to be me and Ronnie, right? But he never left. And I was like, okay, so he's not going to leave. No hard feelings. I get it. I love the school. I had fun playing here. It was great getting to know y'all. Everything was, everything was Gucci. So I transferred to Southern Illinois where some of my junior college friends I played with, they went there. So I went there and played with them and ended up getting drafted in the 4th round.
Well, you know what, B. Jacobs? Unfortunately, me and you didn't have the luxury of probably being the first player to get drafted at our position, like Pat P, right?
Pat P is definitely one of them guys. Definitely one of them guys. Pat P, hey, I must tell you, man, big fan. I've been watching you. I followed you all the way up through the boot. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely followed everything you've done, man. And congrats on a great career, bro.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. And with that being said, you named 2 guys that got drafted before you at the running back position in Ronnie and Cadillac. Can you name the other 8 guys?
Let's see.
Burnham Morrissey.
To Green Bay. He went to Green Bay, right?
Theatric Faison.
Faison went to Detroit? No,
he went to
Faison
Detroit.
Went to Minnesota.
Yeah. He went to Minnesota, and then we had
Florida.
What's his name? Boy came from, I think, the Citadel, Nehemiah Broughton, another big back. They had who else was it, man?
He was
who else?
like
Frank Gore.
No, you put
Frank Gore. Frank Gore went in the 3rd.
Who else was in the 1st round?
Who was in the 1st round? It was Ronnie, Cadillac.
Went high too. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not here with us anymore.
Yeah.
He was top 4.
Yep.
Cedric Benson.
Yep. Cedric Benson. Yeah.
Cedric Benson came from Texas. He got drafted out in Chicago. It was somebody else though, man. It was 8 guys that got drafted before me. I can't remember. So that's
JJ Arrington from Cal.
Had him. Maurice Claret. Yo, listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Maurice Claret.
Listen. I'm sitting in my house, right? I'm sitting there, and I had just got out the phone with the Titans. The Titans was gonna draft me. The next coming of Eddie George, right?
Yeah.
Titans was gonna take me. I'm sitting there, and with the last pick, I think Maurice Claret went to. I forgot where he got drafted to.
Denver. Broncos.
So with the last pick, Denver was up after Tennessee had passed on me. So I'm like, yo, I gotta go to first day. This is crazy. I had a better 40 time than most of them guys, and I'm bigger than them and strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong? And they draft Maurice Claret. Now, respect to the stuff he did at Ohio State, but his postseason testing and everything he did leading up to the combine was not there. And I thought I should have been drafted ahead of him. And I was
Hey, I'm gonna tell
pissed
you
off
this
at that.
true story. When we went to the combine, because the running backs ran first. Y'all got there early, like right at the offensive lineman, I think, in the tight ends or whatever. Man, when we got the DBs got there, we heard it was a dude, Pat P, that was 6'4", about 260, run 4.5. We said, well, who is this? Because everybody low key had forgot that Brandon went to Auburn. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, you forget he left Auburn. Only thing you remember at Auburn was Cadillac and Ronnie. Man, it's like, man, this running back, man, 6'4", ran 250, ran 4.5. He's like, man, he got to be at least top 3 round top guy. So everybody was surprised when I kept seeing all these other running backs off the board based on that 40 time alone. Because right now, if you run 4.5 and you 250, 260, you 6'4", you definitely gonna get drafted high. That's a given.
Absolutely. You're definitely going in the first 2 or 3 rounds. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
No question about it, But, I had a lot of guys go in front of me, man, and I kind of outlasted a lot of them. Frank Gore is a special human being, man. Special human being. That man going to be playing football in the NFL if he don't retire when his son about to get drafted.
Right.
No question. I don't know what kind of water Frank drinks.
Me either. I need some of that. Man.
Well, speaking of backs that you was behind in college, you entered the league behind I believe, an NFL great, and he changed the running back style. I remember Tiki had a problem with him holding that ball high and tight, Tom Coughlin getting on him. But you landed with the Giants, and you really became a feature back in your 3rd year. What was your mindset being after Tiki retired, being able to having to carry that torch?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I was ready for my 3rd year when he retired, because coming into my rookie year and seeing everything that had to take place, that I had to learn, seeing everything I had to do, I wasn't ready mentally for that stuff. I wasn't ready for that. That my first year, I went in on short yardage and goal line plays only. Or when we was blowing somebody out and we wanted to run or we was up and we wanted to run a 4-minute offense, then I'll go do that. But my 2nd year, I started getting in the film room, the off season. I got in the film room. I learned my pass protection, learned all of my routes, learned everything. And then I played a little bit more my 2nd year. And then all of a sudden, Tiki was like, hey, BJ, this might be my last year. I have a bigger career with Fox, I think he was working with at the time, that I'm probably going to take. He told me that in week 4, week 5. So I already knew. He shocked everybody else in week 14. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, like week 14, he shocking everybody else, saying it was going to be his last season, his last game. In his last regular season game, he put up 215 yards against Washington Redskins to end up with 1,800. Right. Yeah. So he left on that note. And then me going into it then, my first year short yardage and goal line at some 4-minute. My 2nd year I did short yardage goal line, 4-minute and 3rd down. My 4th year, in my 3rd year, I'm all in. I'm a 4-down back, a 3-down back at this time. And I go, me and Derek Ward splitting time. I was ready for it, man, and I was ready for it. But I also got a newfound respect for guys that came in the league after me and took that starting role on like a champion. Guys like Adrian Peterson, from a rookie all the way up, and he was the man. And man, I just don't know how he's doing that. I'm sitting there looking like, I don't know how this guy is doing that. I don't know. Me myself, I wasn't ready. So I take my hat off to guys like that as well. But I was ready to take the torch from Tiki when he left, man. I learned a lot from him. Learned how to be a pro from him, man. And, he's definitely one of the best backs in NFL history. Definitely one of the most underrated running backs in NFL history. The guy left when he wanted to leave, and he had 10,000 yards. I truly think Tiki could have stayed and played another 2 years, and been up, and did more, but he wanted to leave on top. He controlled his own destiny, and he did what he wanted to do.
No doubt. Going into Super Bowl 42, the New York Giants entered that ball game 12.5 points underdog, right? I think maybe one of the highest lines. I think 14 might be the highest, but you guys were 12.5 points underdogs in that ball game. But what was the feeling of confidence and belief the team had going into that matchup against the Patriots?
We knew one thing going into the playoffs after playing them in week 17. We knew one thing, and by the way, that game helped us. It helped us. It helped our confidence. You know, it got us where we needed to be, you know, mentally to be able to go through the playoffs. I mean, this is the best team in the NFL. You know, we just went into a dogfight with them that we should have won.
Yeah.
Given the fact we had a turnover or two, that was the reason why we lost the game, and some poor clock management by myself, not going out of bounds and things in times when I needed to. But you know, it is what it is, and those moments are now gone. So we knew coming into the playoffs that the New England Patriots, if it was one team that they didn't want to play again, it was going to be the New York Giants. So we knew we had three other teams in our way that we were capable of beating. You know, and they caught us at our bad time, pretty much. Like Green Bay caught us at probably the worst time of that season, blew us out. You know, we didn't play Tampa that year, but Dallas beat us twice. But we knew going into it that all those games that we had were definitely winnable because our division was tougher than the NFC South at the time, like I said earlier. So we knew we could beat Tampa. Dallas was a question mark, but we knew we owed them, and we knew it was going to be hard for them to beat us a third time. And Green Bay put us in a situation where we played our type of football, and they wasn't ready for it. We played tough physical football in negative 20-degree weather, and they couldn't do nothing about it. You know, and going into the Super Bowl, we know once we made it, we knew once we went to the Super Bowl to represent the NFC that we was gonna win the game because New England was gonna ball up and it was gonna lay down for us because we were physical with them. We hit them in the mouth. We bumped them after the play. We did all kinds of different stuff to intimidate them, and we ain't kept like boys got flags thrown on them left and right. We just didn't care what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Y'all 18-0. Y'all beat everybody. Okay, we get some penalties and lose the game. Okay, y'all 19-0. What's the big deal? We don't see it. We just gonna come at y'all, and it is what it is. It's however y'all want to take it, and that's what we did.
Hey, is that David Tyree catch one of the best plays in Super Bowl history?
Absolutely. David couldn't catch a cold all week long, man, in practice. David couldn't catch a cold soaking wet and standing in Alaska at negative 30 degrees, could not catch a cold at all. But he was dropping everything, hit him in his hand, man. I think he had 2 catches in the Super Bowl. He had 1 for a touchdown, right? How ironic is that? And then he had he had a sell it pop, hit him in the end zone, you know, and then he had the catch on his head. What ended up being 2 major plays in that game for us to go and win the game. But that catch, he pinned the ball against his helmet. That's one of the best catches in Super Bowl history.
No. That might be in the discussion, right?
That's better than Santonio Holmes, man. I know
No. That's not better than Santonio Holmes' catch, Pat P. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh, come on, no.
I know
you. Listen, no. The reason, okay, so this is my logic. Y'all hear me out. Listen to me. I know y'all gonna say I'm biased. I think David Tyree catch was great. It was a great catch, but I think it was more luck. It was more luck than
that
anything.
Was a routine catch, man. So he
caught the ball in his helmet. That was not a routine catch.
I'm saying Santonio. But that's a routine. Them boys do that every single day nowadays. Yeah. I mean, AB, that's a normal catch now.
Listen. The difficulty for Big Ben, to throw the ball, if you look at the elevation of the ball, there were 3 guys that the ball literally skipped their fingertips. And for Tone to catch it,
that was the throw.
Toe tap.
Listen.
That ball in freaking double, triple coverage, man, and he had to come down with that, Matt. No.
So David Tyree, both of y'all, I'm asking both of y'all a question. I want y'all honest answer. Was David Tyree catch more luck or skill?
He caught it and we won the game.
I think honestly that was great ball awareness because he had the ball here and the ball started.
Pat, you didn't answer my question. I said, was that more luck or skill?
I say skill because I caught a helmet. I caught a ball off my helmet before. I got ball skills.
You got ball skills, no question. But how often does that happen? You have to be a bit lucky. Jacobs, Jacobs, was that more luck or skill? Be real with me now, because you just
skill, being skilled. Like how can it not be skilled? It's directing. It's keeping your eyes on the ball, right?
That's a skill.
Listen, he caught the ball with his hands at first, and Harrison pulled his hand off the ball, and he had to pin it on his helmet going down.
That was the lucky part. The
So
pinner on his helmet, he got lucky. Y'all got lucky on that one. He got lucky. So which was a better throw? Who had the better throw in that between both plays?
Better throw. Ben
Roethlisberger had the better throw. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger definitely had the best throw. But listen, I'm going to tell you another catch that I think is better than the one you talking about. The Mario Manningham catch in Super Bowl 46 on the sideline.
Exactly.
That Mario Manningham. I mean, one thing I can't take from the Giants, both championship runs, right? Y'all had two memorable plays that we will always talk about, right? But if you're talking about, I think you can put that Mario Manningham catch into the discussion. But the difference between the catches we're talking about, only one of them led to a direct point getter touchdown. That Tom catch led to instant points for us.
No, that one led to the Plaxico Burress.
I mean, eventually, it led to them. It led to the slant and go to Plex in the end zone. But I'm talking about Tone was a touchdown.
Right. I got you. I see what you said. Now you're right.
Yeah, Tone.
I will tell you this though, Mac. That was a heck of a pitch and catch. But what I'm saying is, those guys. When the last time you saw somebody catch a ball in their helmet versus somebody catching that same routine toe tap that Santonio Holmes called?
I can tell you one. We can throw out. You remember the Patriots versus the Falcons? Remember Julian Edelman foot catch? You remember that 3rd and long that he converted for a first down?
In the one Seattle had against the Patriots with I think it was Jermaine Cason, if I'm not mistaken.
Jermaine Kearse. Was it Kearse?
Jermaine Kearse, I'm sorry. Went down to the end zone. It led to the pick, but for them to get down there, you remember the Patriots guy picked it. He had an opportunity to pick it off. Jermaine Brown.
And it fell on him. It fell on the ground. Yeah.
Fell on him. He was on the ground. Yep. Absolutely.
That's love.
But now, man, like I say, man, David catch, it was great. You know, I put it up there. I just, you know, I've definitely put it. Me myself, I'm going, and you might call me biased. I got him and Mario Manningham, man. That, you know, for them to be able to do that, you know. Yeah. David Tyree catching Mario Manningham catches in the league of their own.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the catches you're talking about with Tyree and Manningham, the same person delivered the pass in Eli Manning. You know, what's your response to people who question his Hall of Fame credentials?
They need to take their I think they need to give their Sunday ticket away, man. the people that's questioning Eli's credentials, I think they need to give their Sunday ticket up and never watch the sport again.
You saying he should be first? You saying he should be first ballot?
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you, every team I was on, there were probably 8 or 9 teams in the team with 8 or 9 teams in the league with deeper rosters. Every year I played football. I mean, I'm talking about easy, right? We just played together, you know what I'm saying? And we made things happen. You know, everybody always saying, oh, Eli had this, he had that. Only thing Eli had with him was an amazing defense, right? But offensively, we had Shockey, who was hurt most of the time, you know, and then he ended up leaving. And we had Plaxico Burress on the outside who played his whole career with the Giants hurt, you know, after coming from Pittsburgh. And they had unknown running backs that nobody just didn't know what they were going to do, and we had a decent offensive line.
Yeah,
I mean that's not a deep offense, to me. And Eli was still able to do what he did, you know, without help, just like every other quarterback has. But he's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'll tell you, when Eli was in his heyday, if it was close in the fourth quarter and Eli had the ball last, he was gonna score. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Doubt about it, man.
I seen it week in, week out. Week in, week out, I saw it. Saw it way too much not to believe it. You know what I mean?
Well, the New York Giants have a great history of selecting great running backs. Do you think Saquon will be a New York Giant long enough to threaten that record of yours? The touchdown record?
Man, I'm a huge Saquon fan. However,
okay,
if the trend continues to follow,
he won't be there long
with
enough.
The Giants, with the Giants and the type of coin, Zeke got a lot of coin, Alvin Kamara got a lot of coin, and I think Saquon is better than both of them, but I just don't see the Giants footing that type of bill for a running back. I don't see it. Now, do I want them to? Yes, because I'm a big fan of Saquon, and if anybody break my record, I'd rather it be him. He's a great dude. He's a hard worker, man. He's a people's person. You know what I mean? He's everything he's every type of person that's needed in a place like Giant, with the Giants, talks to the kids like, he does everything, man. And I'd rather him stay put in New York, but I don't want him to take something he's worth more than, you know what I mean? So the Giants, throughout all these years, I probably was the last running back that they paid decently, and that was $40 million over 4 with what I had 18, 19 guaranteed at the time. That ain't nothing compared to what Zeke and him is doing now. That ain't nothing compared. Alvin Kamara got a big deal too. I think he got like an $80 million deal or something of that nature. You know what I mean? So I don't see the Giants cutting that type of check for the running back position. I don't see it. So,
and also
with that being said,
he got to stay healthy too. That's the thing with
stay healthy. He got to stay healthy. There's 2 years in a row where he's been hurt, and things happen, and I just wish he can play a whole season and get what he's worth.
Yeah, but I think he got 17 rushing touchdowns, so he got a ways to go to get that 60.
Yeah, he got a ways to go to get to that 60, bro.
Yeah, I think it falls back on also of putting pieces around him, because I think they just put too much on him. You know what I mean? Put him in too many situations to where he is vulnerable, because he's the guy that's that's in the passing game as well. He's also in the running, but he's everything that they got on offense. So the offense run through them versus having a tight end. I mean, they have a tight end. I can't think of the young man's name. I cannot think of it. Ingram, I believe.
Yeah, Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram, who's another guy. Well, we don't know whether or not the Giants are going to move forward him. I think this is the last year on his deal. He had to play his ass off to have to get a contract. I don't know what the Giants are going to do with him. I don't know if they're going to lowball him. I don't know what they're going to do. But he asked me, they definitely need him because he's a threat in the seam with his size, and he's athletic as well. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with him, because I think he's up now too.
Right.
Yeah. Only time would tell. Now, Brandon, we're going to transition to the superlative part of our show. We hit you with rapid fire questions. We want your unbiased, honest answer. First one for you. Best nickname for a unit in NFL history. When you were in New York, you guys were called Earth, Wind, and Fire. Brandon, Ahmad Bradshaw, and Derek Ward. Can you think of any other legit, iconic nicknames for units throughout professional football? I mean, Earth, Wind, and Fire was pretty hot, not going to lie to you.
It was.
You got Washington had the Hogs.
I mean, who was Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Earth, Wind, and Fire is a group, a music group.
I know that, but it was a 3 running backs. So who was Earth? Who was Wind? Who was Fire?
I was Earth.
Okay.
Derek Ward was Wind, and Ahmad Bradshaw was Fire.
Okay.
Quick, speedy guy. Derek kind of finesse.
Hey,
and then me ain't.
Yo, man, he was
what? Ahmad was the best one out of all 3. He was. The dude was a beast, bro. It was hard to bring him down. He had great balance. He had speed where he stretched where he stretched the field, played in the passing game. The guy did everything, man. Injuries haunted him too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Best backfield in NFL history. You got the two-headed monsters. So you got, D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. You got who is this? We got LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner, and Darian Sproles. That was a great trio right there. And then you got Marcus Allen, and Bo Jackson, Ward Dunn, Mike Allstott. So who's the best, 2 or tandem to say in NFL history, in your opinion?
I think it was us.
Yeah,
that's me. Derek. Well, it was kind of before Ahmad came in 2007. That was his rookie year, and 2008 was our best season. He had when we got the name Earth, Wind, and Fire. Me and Derek both ran for over 2,000. I mean, we ran both ran for over 1,000 yards. So, that's only been done 3 other times. From 2 backs on the same team. So I think. Other than I think it's us, hands down. I think we were definitely the better tandem versus the other guys, because Darren Sproles really didn't get too much burn when he was in San Diego, but you know what I mean. And Mark Ingram and who else was it?
Mark Ingram,
Alvin Kamara.
It was
Kamara hadn't showed much yet.
You got D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan
Stewart, and Jonathan Stewart. Yep.
Brett Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew. You got LaDainian Thomas. That was that group you just said. Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson. The last one was Ward Dunn and Mike Allstott. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I can see Earth, Wind, and Fire definitely being the better tandem out of that group, because, like you said, all three of you guys had a significant. Not only like you spoke about Dan Rose, all three of you guys could have been starters, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's team. So.
And we did our fair amount, our fair share. You know, we closed games with Ahmad his rookie year. You know, we closed games with Ahmad. You know, Ahmad had carries. He played. You know what I mean?
It was almost like how you said, whoever had the hot hand that game, and it was time to get physical. That's who Tom Coughlin was at the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, you know, we kind of worked it out. Like our running back coach, Gerald Eng, was like, man, listen, I love y'all. Y'all been in my room forever. You know, I trust y'all. So you guys work out this rep thing. You guys work out this rep. But I need Brandon to start, though. I need Brandon to start. I'm like, all right, cool. So I started, and I went the first two series. First two series, and then we'll alternate. Then D Water go to the third series. Then I'll go back for the fourth series. Then we'll bring Ahmad in. You know, Ahmad might get a series a quarter, right? He might get a series a quarter. But then when I realized Derek running hard, he's doing this thing, I said, man, I can't take him out now. I mean, I can't leave him in. You know, for instance, in 2008, we playing against Carolina in week 16 for the #1 seed. Derek had 215 yards rushing. I wasn't about to go pull him out the game. Yeah, you know, say, hey, man, it's my turn, man. Yeah, like, bro, he had 215. He had like 15 carries at that. It wasn't even crazy. But I had 3 touchdowns. Yeah, I had 3 touchdowns, and he had 215. And I used to tell these guys all the time, start with Plexico Burrs, Amani Toomer, all of those guys. I say, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all catch a pass and y'all get tripped out of bounds on the 1-2 yard line, it's not my fault. I'm taking that 6. I'm taking that 6. So when you get a chance to score, you usually see them trying to sell out, diving from the 5, trying to get in that thing, trying to get the ball, trying to break the plan, because they knew we going to heavy package and I'm about to come in and get that work. You know, and that was Derek. You know, Derek had 215, but he got caught a few times right there around the goal line. He dog tired, so I go get the touchdown. I gave him all the touchdown. I gave him all the touchdown. I gave him the game-winning touchdown ball. You know, I gave it to him because I thought that he deserved it.
Right, yeah, no doubt. Last one for you here: better overall team, 2007 Giants or the 2011 Giants?
2007 Giants, easy, not even close.
That's my strand.
Yeah, but because that 2007 team led us to destroying the NFL in 2008. That year after we won the Super Bowl, we was really untouchable until the incident with Plexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah, y'all started off that 08 season hot. That was like 11 and 1.
We was 11-1, and when it happened, we got blew out in Cleveland. We got blew out in Cleveland. I think on a Monday night, it was like 35-13 or something like that.
Yeah,
they blew us out. And we came back after that, and we won every game. Our next toughest challenge was Pittsburgh. Coming to, we played them, and we ended up beating one. It was 20. It was like 21-17 or something like that in Pittsburgh. Y'all, because James Harris just snapped the ball over the punter head for a safety and put us up on, and then we
our punter got hurt, so we didn't have no emergency snapper. I mean, the snapper got hurt. That's what it was.
Got hurt.
So you don't got emergency snapper. So they asked Debo. They said, Debo, can you snap? It's like, can you snap? They're like, yeah. So Debo warm-up snap on the sideline went almost into the stands, but they ain't had nobody else. So he said, Debo, take some strength out of the snap, bro. Man, Pat Peter, snapped the ball literally almost into the 10th row of the stands. We look on the side like, man,
because they didn't have the field goal net up. They didn't have the field goal net up. I'm talking about went through the thing. All right, straight up in the stands, like, God, this joker's strong. We ended up getting that safety. I said, okay, now we up. Now let's try to finish the game, man.
Right. Yeah, but let me ask you this question.
It was,
I hear people say this all the time, Brandon, and give me some clarity with this. A lot of Giants fans feel like that 2018 probably was the best team. Granted, you didn't win a championship, but you look at the championship teams, the 11 and 07, it felt like that 08 team probably was the best team. So me ask you this question. If the Plaxico situation didn't happen, y'all go through and do what y'all supposed to do, would y'all have won the championship that year?
We beat y'all in the Super Bowl.
Boy, stop.
I'm not stopping. I'm telling you.
You're not gonna beat us.
Hey, we beat y'all in the Super Bowl because I'm gonna tell you why. We played Arizona. We played Arizona early that year. We played them in Arizona. We whooped them, right? Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals, huh?
What they got to do with anything? Y'all blew out Arizona.
Listen, I'm just telling you. We blew them out. They got to come to New York for the NFC Championship game. We beat them again in the cold. And then we play the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and we beat y'all again for the second time.
But hold on. First of all, the first time y'all beat us was by default because Debo snapped. We ain't had no snap. You just told the story about the safety.
But however you see it, BMac, I understand I understand the clarity and the point you trying to make here. But however, those 2 points, y'all, we ended up beating y'all by 4 total.
Well, we was in a very difficult situation because I remember our snapper. I think I hurt in the first half. Pat P didn't knock the snapper out. I think he got concussed. He got that prom escort to the sideline, and we ain't had no snapper.
Wait. Didn't y'all have a pick six?
Did we have a pick six?
Yeah, y'all had a pick six. Y'all picked off Eli, took it to the house, right? So since we what ifing, that's what if.
What your what if is?
But I'm saying, what if we don't throw that pick six and the snap never even matter?
Eli was always good for a pick six here or there on the road. Now you know that. Don't do that. I know that's your guy.
Oh man,
I know that's your guy. Man, y'all wasn't gonna beat us. We had a stick on defense, Brandon. We had a stick on defense. That 08 defense was hell out there.
All I know is our defense didn't score no points against y'all, and somehow we had 21 of them.
Man, we had the strongest man in football snapping the ball. Pat P, the man snapped the ball in the 10th row, man.
10th row.
The 10th row.
They gave that safety.
Yeah. But hey, that's a good what if, man. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot of Giants fans chiming into this when we drop this, and along with Steeler fans, because we wanted to see y'all because y'all was causing a lot of hell in that NFC side. We definitely would eye y'all. We would like what y'all doing because we kind of had the same identity: physical football, running old school, hit you in the mouth, don't run from you, just bring the fight to you. So we definitely want to see y'all.
Our game plan that year was simple. B. It was simple. Line a 6'5" wide receiver up on the outside. We play cover 2 over him. You got to play the run with 6-7 in the box, and we gonna run the ball. I ain't throw. That's just what we're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So when that happened with Plaxico, they didn't respect the money like that, and they didn't respect Dominic Hickson like that. Even though Dominic stepped up and played well for him, but
Dominic has
they didn't respect him like that. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So, but they played us different. Now that safety's in the box. So now you go from a 7-man look to now you got an 8-man look in the box, and we got 2, and we got guys, and then just guys that played safety. Then when we were playing, that was real football players. Right. Safeties then were real football players, right? Yeah. So we couldn't. They threw our game plan off. We couldn't adjust. And we ended up losing Philly in a divisional round, who had Brian Dawkins guy come and play down in the box. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I tell people all the time about today. Like, bro, the guys I played against, y'all defense, y'all had foot, y'all had all them boys on y'all defense. Y'all Troy, them boys played football. Them boys was, physical. Big Jeremiah Trotter down there in Philly. Playing, man, they ain't got no linebackers really out there like that right now, man. Them boys 210, 215 pounds, trying to backpedal, trying to cover the pass now. So yeah, I'm not, our era was definitely a little bit more physical than what they got out there now.
No doubt, no doubt. Whatever. We appreciate you joining us, man. That wraps everything up. Before we let you go,
Hey, no,
is there anything you want to pub, anything you want to talk about, promote? I know, wait a minute, before I give you that opportunity, Pat P, this man got a beast of a son, I heard.
I say
Braden Jacobs, class of 2025. Man, tell the world about your son, Braden Jacobs, and how can we get him down to Tallahassee?
Hey man, you know we
All right,
Hey, man,
down
listen.
in Tallahassee.
Listen, man, the dude is an astronomical kid, man. I got him wrestling now, just to get some of that toughness.
Oh, he gonna get that strength in him too. That's that backyard strength.
Listen. That Joker got so tired the other day in his match. He tried to walk. He was manhandling the kid. He manhandled the kid, pinned him like 2 or 3 times. Ref wasn't in position to see it.
Mm-hmm.
He was so tired. The Joker got up off the ground and tried to walk off the mat, bro. It was so funny, bro. The kid was laying on his stomach, just laying on his stomach. Braden got he wrestling on top of the man like this. He was so tired, but man, Braden is a great kid. Braden's gonna be probably about 6'5", 6'6", 320, 325, something like that. The man 13 now. He
13. How big is he now?
He's 6'3". He's 6'3", 248 right now.
6'3", 248. What y'all grocery
Yeah,
bill
bro.
looking like?
Hey, dude, man, that's
I
the
know
crazy
you can
thing
eat
about
still.
it. The
potatoes and steak.
man. Oh man, yeah, we eat steak now. We definitely eat steak. We definitely eat steak, man. But I'm more of a game person, myself. I'm from Louisiana. I eat real wildlife, like real
you eat
wildlife.
deer and all that stuff. You ever had possum before?
No, I ain't never had possum, but I had raccoon, rabbit, squirrel, all that stuff. I eat all that, bro.
You out there from Bobby Boucher from?
Yeah, man. But Braden, he does very well, man. He plays left tackle. He gonna play right tackle next year. Just because the way our school is in the upperclassmen is set up. Got a left tackle already. Gonna be a senior. So he gonna play right tackle next year, just to get on the field and get right. And if he does great at it, we keep him there. If not, we move him to the other side because that's what he's been playing the whole time. But I definitely think he's probably I would say probably the best lineman nationwide in his class.
Wow.
There's no question about it.
We gotta get him to camp. Summer camp at Florida State this year.
Man, listen, I'm down. Hey, I'll drive him right there to Tallahassee.
I'll be there right there with you. I'll be there right there with you.
I'll take it right there, man. No doubt, man. I really appreciate y'all, man. I really do.
Sir, man. And once again, man, thank you for joining us. All things covered.
Hey, no
Two-time Super Bowl champion Brandon Jacobs with the New York Giants, man. Joining us here, man. It's a pleasure. We're gonna keep a lookout for your son, Braden Jacobs.
Please do,
soon.
man.
Class of 2025.
But just know we to beat y'all in that Super Bowl, man.
There you go.
Have a good day.
There you go. We're gonna do a poll.
Hey,
We're gonna do a poll. Can we let the fans decide? We're gonna let the fans decide because you and Pat P think that David Tyree catch was better catch than Santonio.
Come on, you can't keep going, man. Listen, David Tyree had the best catch. Make your poll, and I guarantee you, put it up on there. Make sure you tag me.
We're gonna add you on the poll for both, and we're gonna see we're gonna let the fans decide. How about that?
Let the fans go on this side, and I'm gonna make sure to retweet it so I can have the even amount of support, man.
No doubt.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Thanks again to Brandon Jacobs, and thanks to everyone for listening to this episode of All Things Covered. If you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe and leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back with you next week with a special Super Bowl program where everything will be covered. Peace.